And welcome back. Well, this is a man named Alan Day in front of the Mustang Meadows Ranch. It's coming up. It's the country's first government-sponsored wild horse sanctuary located right in South Dakota. Alan Day is the brother to retired Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor.
Yeah, the ranch is home to 1,500 wild horses, and there is a new book about the ranch. It's called The Horse Lover, A Cowboy's Quest to Save the Wild Mustangs. It was co-written by Day and this woman that we have joining us right now. It's Lynn Wiese Sneyd, who is a Wisconsin native, a graduate of Homestead High School. She also went to Madison. Great to have you on the show this morning. So it's like welcome home.
It is.
Yeah.
I love being in Milwaukee.
Do you?
Yes.
And did you grow up with horses? When did your horse knowledge start?
I grew up riding a Schwinn varsity bike.
I was hoping you were going to say that. Yeah.
And rode one horse in Girl Scout camp named Waffles.
You remember the name.
I remember the name. Waffles was old.
Okay. So it wasn't until much later that you had some experience then with wild horses.
I had absolutely no experience with wild horses except listening to Alan Day talk about his sanctuary that he started in 1989. And he had the sanctuary for 4 years. And he was writing a book and he needed help, and that's what I do for a living. So I learned a lot about wild horses working with Alan. It took us a couple of years to write the book.
And you two met in a Barnes & Noble.
Yes, we did. Alan and his sister Sandra Day O'Connor wrote a memoir called Lazy Bee. They grew up on a 200,000-acre ranch in Arizona. It straddled Arizona and New Mexico. And I hosted a book signing for him.
Okay.
We got to be friends.
Yeah.
That's really cool. What's his experience like with his sister? Are they quite close?
They're very close. They're actually 10 years apart in age, but they're very close.
I bet he's proud of her. I mean, not everybody
Alan
can say, oh yeah, my
so
sister's a Supreme Court Justice.
Right. Alan is so proud of Sandra, and he always says, if you meet Sandra, it just raises the bar on how you're living your life.
Oh, that's a cool thing to say.
Yes.
I like that.
Talk to us a little bit about the controversy with wild horses and what's going on in the industry to protect them.
There's a lot of controversy right now because wild horses populate at about 20% per year. Now they have lands, federal lands to live on in different states, Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, New Mexico, so the herds are spread out. But because they populate so much, they overgraze the land. So the Bureau of Land Management needs to take off horses, and what do they do with them? They can't euthanize them. There's a law that says you can't slaughter horses, so they put them in holding pens. And so right now there are about 40,000 horses in holding pens living their life that way across the West, and some of them can be adopted, but many of them obviously are not.
What are conditions like in a holding pen?
Well, not very good. I think they're crowded. It depends. Now, I've never seen a holding pen, but when Alan saw the horses in Palomino Valley in Nevada back in the 80s, he said it was very crowded, and he was eager to get some of them out of there onto the sanctuary he was starting.
Yeah, so what did he do? What was his journey like?
Well, he bought 35,000 acres in the Sandhills of Nebraska, and he said, okay, what am I going to do with this? And then an opportunity dropped in his lap to start a government-sponsored wild horse sanctuary. He had to lobby Congress, and then he got 1,500 wild horses. Now, at that time, there were about 2,000 in holding pens. There's 40,000 now. And so he got 1,500, and his partner, Dayton Hyde, got 300. So Alan had these horses for 4 years.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
At 15, and he trained them. He trained them to follow a cowboy on horseback because he had to move them between fields, and so he had to get them to go through gates and across pastures. And no one had ever, or probably has ever, trained 1,500 wild horses to follow a cowboy on horseback.
He's kind of like the horse whisperer, they say.
He called it herd modification behavior training, and Monty Roberts called it horse whispering. Who's a little sexier there,
right? Exactly. Yeah, for
got
sure.
a little punch to that.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. There must be a lot of heartbreak if you're a cowboy, if you love horses, if you understand, especially if you live in the western part of our country, and you see kind of what's going on. And I would think that there's a lot of frustration in not knowing what to do or how to help.
Right. Well, he had not knowing that ice can melt. There was a pond, and the horses went out in the pond, and there was a thaw, and some of them fell through. And that was not anticipated, and some of them died, and that was a big problem. And so, yes, there's a lot of heartbreak. And Alan had horses all his life, so interwoven into the wild horse story are stories about the horses he owned, Sabre, Aunt Jemima, Blackberry, and some of those we're trying to write about because some are sad, I mean it's animals, and some are just glorious.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I think anybody who's had an experience with horses is going to feel a connection to this, and you've got a book signing tonight at Boswell Book Company, Boswell Books on Downer there. It's at 7 o'clock. You can learn more about the book or get your own copy at thehorselover.com, and you can go out and meet Lynn there tonight as well to talk more about the sanctuary and the book itself. Thanks for being here. Welcome
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
nice
you.
to see you.
The
Thanks
cheese
for joining
curds are
us.
still good.
Yes, they are. Great to see you. Thank you.
All right.